Hello everyone. Today our topic is how to format arguments into a single string column using format underscore string function. So first we'll see what is format underscore string. So this function formats the arguments in a printf style and returns the result as a new string column in a PySpark data frame. So first we'll see the syntax format underscore string, and inside that we need to pass two arguments. So one is the format and columns. So either it can be single column or multiple columns. So if it is multiple columns, we'll mention star columns. So first we'll see what is this format. So this format is printf style formatting. So that means it uses standard C printf style format specifiers like %f, it represents string, and %d for integer. And how to do formatting numbers. So you can format numerical columns such as displaying a floating point number. So that means if you use %f, it means floating point number. So example like percent dot to f. So that means we can do up to two decimal values. So percent here we know %f. So %f means floating point. And if you mention point two means it is applicable up to two decimal places. So scientific notation with two decimal places using this one. So mainly scientific numbers will use this one, this format. And padding integers. So you can use left pad an integer column with zeros using format specifiers like %03d to ensure minimum width. So here, if you see %03d, so that means integer value, it is with left padded with zeros. So left padded means, so left side. So left side, it is padded with zero. So how many zeros? With the zeros to a width of 3. To a width of 3. So that means, suppose example, if we have integer value of 10, then it becomes 0, 1, 0. So what is the requirement? The width of 3. So here 3 means the width should be 3. So that means total numbers. But here we have already two numbers we have. So we want to become three numbers. And since we mentioned left pad at 0, so like before number, we should add a 0. So we are getting 0, 1, 0. And star calls means one or more column names or any PySpark column objects. So whose values will be inserted into format string. So the number of columns provided must match the number of format specifiers in the format string. So mainly we'll see about this kind of formats in this video. So first what I'm doing, I'm importing required functions. So mainly format underscore string from PySpark.sql.functions. So first I'm trying to apply for format numerical columns. So here I'm creating one sample data frame like using columns age, name, salary. If you see in this salary, here we have decimal values. Okay, so like this decimal values we have. So here I used spark.create data frame to create this data frame. So what I will do here, I will try to add, I'll try to print statement also like print schema. First, I will run this one and df underscore format underscore 01 dot print scheme. So if I rerun this one, so we'll get schema for this data frame also. So age, name, salary. So salary is double data type. So next what I'm doing, if salary is a float, so I want to make it as two decimal places and possibly leading zeros, and %03D is only for integers. So here D means decimal integer. So we already discussed here 03D. So 03D, what it means and how it works. And here D is integer. And yeah, we saw here. So this one %D. D means for integer. %S means for string. So %F means floating point. So now, so here leading zeros. So leading means after the number. So here 0, here 03 means before the number. Okay, so first we'll try to understand what is this meaning. Percent 08.2F. So first one is percent. So this is the format, start format. And what is here? 0. So 0 is paired with zeros. So paired with zeros means, so like here 03D means, for example, 10 is there. So 0 means before this number, it will add 10. So that is padding. So that is paired with zeros. Next, 8. So total width, it should be 8 characters. So here 0.03D is there, no? So here instead of 3, here we have 8. So that is total width should be 8 characters. And zero point 0.2 is there. So this one 0.2 means it should be finally up to 2 decimals. And F is floating point. So this is the meaning of this format. So now what I'll do, on top of this data frame, I'm using select and I'm picking all the columns. So all the columns means my sample data frame is this one, these 3 columns. I'm picking this, and on top of that, I'm creating 2 more columns. So one is formatted underscore pad with 3D and formatted pad with 5D. So we'll see how to do format pad with 3D. So here I'm using first format underscore string function, and inside that I'm mentioning the format. So my first format is %03D. So we already saw that what is the meaning, and I'm mentioning the column name here. So I'm applying on this age column. If I apply on this age column, if you see first 21 is there. So here first thing is 3 means, so first one is a D. D means integer. So our column is integer, and here 3 is there. So this 3 means all these values at the final, you should be width of 3, and what it given 0. So this means 0 means padding. So suppose for this 21, after adding padding of 0, it will become 0 to 1. So that means that padding value, it will add before the number, before the actual number. So 0, 21. So 23 become 0, 23. 22 become 0, 22. 24 will become 0, 24, and so on. And similar way, formatted pad 5. So here D is integer, and we have integer column, and here we have 5. So 5 means our total, this width should be 5. That means we should get like this with width of 5. And what is mentioned here, pad 0. So here we have 2 digits, but our output should be 5 digit. That means width of 5. So since we have pad 0 to to make equal of this one 5, width of 5. So before that we are adding 3 zeros. See here, before 21 we are adding 3 zeros. So since here only 3, so already width 2 is there. So we want to get only width of 3. So 1 0 is added. But here we want width of 5. We have only 2. So we are adding 3 zeros here for padding. And similar way 23. So here we are getting 3 zeros before. So similar way 3 zeros 22 and so on. So this is the padding of integer numbers, integer column with different padding width. So next we'll see how to pad with the float type. So here we saw about integer columns. So D means integer column. So here I will mention T percent T integer column. And next we are seeing the format, that is percent 08.2f. So this 0.2f, 0.5f, this is related to padding of floating type. Okay, so this is floating type. This is integer type, integer column. So here we saw already what is this meaning, percent 0, percent 08.2f. So we saw already meaning. So, and we are applying on salary column. So first I'm picking the salary column from our sample data frame. So from here, I'm picking only this particular column. So because that is my input column. And on top of that, I'm generating two more columns, new columns. So one is formatted underscore salary underscore 2f. That means up to 2 floating point. And one more column, formatted underscore salary underscore 5f. So that is 5 floating point. So those are these two columns. And how I'm generating these two columns is I'm applying format underscore string function, and my format is this one and my column is this one, salary column. Now if you see, our initial value is this one, and the first thing is float type, f is float type, and up to what range it should be, 0.2, 0.2 float type. So 0.2 means it should be 2 decimal. And if you see here, 0.2 means it is up to 2 decimal. See here, since we have 2f here, we are getting after point, we are getting 2 decimals. And if you see here, point f is there, so it is up to 5 decimal. See here, we are all getting 5 decimal. And here, the width should be 8. So initially we have 4 here. Initially 4 is there, but what is our requirement is 8. So if you see here, how, how many we are getting here? So if you see 8, so here total width 8 characters. So 8 characters, and if you count here, so first it is 4, since we have padding here. So to make it width of 8, so and on top of that we given 2 floating. So here 4 is there, here 4 is there. These two decimals, that is 7, sorry, 4 plus 2, 6, and this point is there 7, and we are adding one padding 0. So total 8 we are getting. And similar way here, we have 4.1. So dot 1, so we want two decimal, so we are getting 1 0, and total we want to make it 8, width of 8 characters, so we are adding padding 0 here. And similar way here also. So we have 246 decimals is there, but actually we want only two decimals. So we are getting up to 60. And actually we have four characters is there before decimal. So we are adding padding 0. So now it will become total 8 width, and it will apply for all the things like this. And similar way, if you come here 3, 5, 6, 7, and we want total width of 11, total width of 11 and decimals up to 5. So this is 5 decimals, and this is 1 6, and this plus 4 10, and what we required 11. So for 11 we are adding pad 0 here. And similar way here 5673.1, and to make it 5 float we are adding 4 zeros here. Now this is 5 6 6 plus 4 10, and to make it 11 we are adding padding 0, and it is so on for all the values. So next is iPad or RPad. So first what I'm doing, I'm importing LPad from SQL.functions. So here what I'm doing, on top of this format string, so up to here on top of format string, what I'm doing LPad. So what is this LPad? So here I'm trying to uh, on here I'm trying to generate on top of salary column. So I will add salary also to compare the difference with input column. So this is our input column, salary. So on top of that, I'm creating two more columns. So that is formatted underscore salary 2F, formatted underscore salary underscore 4F. So that 2F means up to 2 floating point, 4F means 4 floating point. If you see here, 2 decimals is there. So that is 2 floating point. And here 4 decimals is there. So that is 4 floating point. And if you see in this column, so point 2, we already saw what is point 2. So this one. So 2 decimal. And here we are not mentioned anything like padding. So like earlier, we are not mentioned any padding here, 0 or something. And 0 width also we are not mentioned. Padding and width are not mentioned. It is mentioned only floating point. So for this value, it adding decimal. So floating values of up to 2 decimal, because we given 0.2. And here I used format underscore string, and on top of that what I given LPAD. So LPAD, for that LPAD I given 10 and dollar symbol. So if you see here, it giving you the example. So left pad the string column to width of length with the pad. So total we required 10. So this total width we required 10. So L pad. So L pad. So we want up to pad of 10. Total width characters, it should be 10. And whatever remaining is there, that will fill with the dollar. So earlier what we used to do, we'll simply write like this. So 08 means 8 means total width should be 8 characters. If any less is there, we'll pad with 0. But here LPAD, in LPAD syntax, what we are doing here is, so first this one format underscore string. And here we are mentioning the pad. So pad means width we are mentioning here. Total how many characters we required. Then we are mentioning pad character here. So that means if you see initially 3, 5, 6, 7. So 4 characters are there. And after applying 2 float number, so 4 plus 1, 5 plus 2, 7. So total 7 is there. But what we required is 10. So what is left over? 3. So those 3, it is filling with the dollar symbol. So that is padding. So here padding is a dollar. So instead of dollar, you can use a zero also like earlier. So that is L pad. So that means left hand side adding the pad. And similar way here. So 4F means 4 floating point. So that is 4 zeros. So initially we have width of 4. And after adding floating number, so 4, 5, 5 plus 4, 9. So 9, and to make it to make it 10, it adding, sorry, to make it 11, it adding 9 plus 2, $2 symbols. At the same way here, 5673.1. So up to 4 floating numbers means this. So this is 4 numbers. If you see here, 4, 5, 5 plus 4, 9, and total we required 11. So less is 2, 2 decimals. So that we are adding $2 symbols. That is pad. And same thing, it applies for all. So this is about left pad. So next, what I'm trying here is, so this is my sample data frame. Select star. So star means up to here, all these columns. So on top of that, I'm adding 3 more columns. So here, what I'll do, I'll take it to next row. Okay. I'm rearranging the things as single row. Okay. So here we can directly use, okay, directly I'm using display. So on top of this sample data frame, I'm trying to create 3 more columns. So that is formatted underscore column. That is this one. Formatted underscore call dot colon and formatted call underscore float. So these 3 columns I'm adding here. Okay. So first one is formatted underscore string, and I'm applying on multiple columns. So earlier we saw about single column. So now we will see how to apply on multiple columns. So what I'm doing, so first I'm mentioning %d. So %d means integer column. So %s means string, %f means float. So for %d, I'm mentioning age column, f dot call of age. So what is the age? We'll get first 21. First we'll get 21. Next, what we mentioned, %s, that is string column, that I mentioned name. So what is name here? Harish. So 21, Harish. And next is f call salary. And here I mentioned float. So since I required float type, currently it is double type, and the value currently it is like integer value. So that integer value, it is converting to decimal value. So since we are not mentioned how many decimals is required, so it taking by default. So this value 3567 dot zeros. By default, it taking this many decimals. And same way, 23 Ravi, 23 Ravi. Next, this decimal, it taking one is there, but it taking up to this value, this many decimals. And similar way, 22 Rakesh, and this value. It is already decimal, it taking this. So it is like all combining these columns into this value, like this. So this is about formatted column. So next, formatted column by using colon. So here I given space. So here how we are getting space is 21 space is there, Irish space is there. Next, this decimal value is there. But if you see here, percent %d and colon I given, colon and space. And if you see here, this same output, how it will convert after 21, semicolon will get, then space, this one Harish, then semicolon, space, then this value. So how you define format, it will change output like that. So similar way, percent %d underscore percent %s underscore percent %2. So for this same output, instead of space, it replaced with underscore. And this one we saw already. So if I rerun this one, it will remove these two columns because those things we covered already at percent 0 to 0.5. So next, so use format underscore string to create a new column based on existing column values. So this is my sample data frame and select, and here I'm using star. So that means all the columns, and on top of that, I'm creating one more column, that is new column formatted underscore column. So this is how I'm creating. So here I'm using format underscore string, and I want like this. So first I want to print like employee name with colon. So here everywhere we are getting employee name colon space. So here we given space. After that, what I required first percent %s. Percent %s means string column. So what I mentioned column. So my string column is this one, Harish. So after that, I'm getting Harish. So next space, undo space. So after Harish, if you see space, undo space, then I mentioned age with colon space. So Harish space undo space age colon space, and what I required percent %d. So what is percent %d here? That is integer column, that is age. So age, that is 21. Okay, so it will print for all the values. It is similar fashion. So this is one thing. And I'm creating one more data frame here. So my initial data frame is, first I'll try to print this one maybe as df1, uh, this one df1. These things I'll move to next cell. First I'll print sample data frame, and I have columns of this one, this many columns, and these are all the values. On top of that, what I'm doing, df1 dot with column. So I'm creating one new column, that my new column name is input. So on top of this, I'm adding one more column, that is input. So how I'm creating that input column is by using format underscore string. So this is my input column. So format underscore string, and I want in this fashion. So my format is first is percent underscore yes. So that means string column. So what is that string column? That is field D1 column. That is first AF you will get. First AF you will get. And after that, what is there? Underscore. So AF underscore. Next percent D is there. So that is integer column. So what is that integer column? Field D2. So that is this one. So AF underscore 100 111, and after that underscore. So that is this one. Up to here, now we completed. Next is percent %yes. So third one is percent %yes. That is again string column. So that is this one, field 3. So again, field 3 is string lm underscore pr. So that is this one, lm underscore year, again underscore. Next, we are coming to percent d, that is fourth one. So that is field 4. So what is field 4? This value. So after lmpr, we are getting this value. And again underscore, we have percent s. So that is string column. So that is this one, field 5. So what is field 5? Sent. And same thing, it applicable for all the values in similar way. So this is one thing. And I think AF same values, Central Exchange, Dire, Euro. Okay, same values. So what I'll do, I'll remove this portion because I have already sample data frame here. That is DF1. Okay, and here what I'm doing, I will remove, I will update this one, DF underscore 1, DF1. So now DF underscore 1, DF1. So here I'm creating new column by using with column, and my column name is input. So that is my this one input column. And how I'm creating is by using format underscore string. So in format underscore string, what I'm doing, first I want like this. So here I'm giving with a double quote. So first I want to start with http address.com. See here I'm getting like this. Next, if I update this one, okay. So after this string, I mentioned columns. So field 1, field 2, field 3, field 4, field 5. So I think here I'm not mentioned the format. So, okay. So here, this particular thing, no? So if you see here, I mentioned only this in this format place, no? I mentioned only this particular text. So that is the reason I'm getting only this HTTP address. So after that, I'm not mentioned any percentage, percentage, nothing I mentioned. So that is the reason it getting like this. So what I will do, I will update this one. Maybe I will add one more column here. Uh, Maybe I will add one more with column here. So same thing, I will copy here. I'll do small modification there. So I will give my column name as input update, and same thing, format underscore string. And after this, this one, what I'm giving space, and after that I'm giving percent yes. So I'll give, maybe I'll give same fashion like how I given earlier. So like this one, percent yes, percent d, percent s, percent d, percent yes. Now if I try to run this one more column will get add here. Column object is not callable. So with column, uh, column object is not callable. Field 1, field 2 with the column up to here, and this is up to here. This is ending up to here. Okay, so here there is some issue is there. So what I'll do, Okay. Column object is not callable. Let me try this. Maybe something syntax will be there. So field one, field two, or otherwise, let me try in different cell. We'll see what is the error. Okay, close the first. So I think there is one small mistake here. So this is format string. This is first one. So I need to close here. That is the mistake. Yeah. Okay. So now I remove this one. No need to do separately. So here, what I'm getting here is, see if you compare this one and this one. So initially my format is given only this HTTP link. So here what I did after that, after HTTP link, I given these things, %s underscore, all these things. So maybe what I will do, I will give underscore and I will rerun. So now after this HTTP link, it coming this same thing, whatever we discussed earlier, no, this output, the same thing, it will add here. So one will discuss. So first one is %s. So underscore %s. So first underscore is there. Next %s is there. %s is field one. So that is this one AF. So we are getting AF. Again underscore %d is there. That is integer column. That is this two field two. That is this one 100 111 and underscore %s string column, that is field 3, that is lm underscore br, and again underscore we have %d, that is integer column field 4. So that is this one this number 101001, again underscore %s string column, that is field 5. So field 5 is central. And same thing, it applies for all the remaining values. So next is basic scientific notation. So for this, I'm creating one sample data frame. So here I have single column, that is value. So here I'm passing tuple. So single value and comma. So single value and comma means it will become tuple. If you remove this comma, it will throw you error. So this is my sample data frame. And if you see in this, this is the scientific number. So 4.5 e power minus 7. So that is the scientific number. So here what I'm doing, df dot select value. So we have one single column, that is value, that I'm selecting here. That is my input column. And on top of that, I'm creating two columns. So scientific 2 decimal, scientific 5 decimal. So that is these two columns. So first this one, how I'm creating is format underscore string, and I'm giving format as this one, point to E. So point to E means point to means up to 2 decimal, and E means scientific number. And I'm applying on value column. And if you see here, this particular value, it converted to like this. So this scientific number, how many decimals? It should be 2. So that means Point 2 means floating. So after decimal, we have two floating values. Here, if you see, two floating values are there. At the same time, if you see here, point 5. So here we have five floating values. See here, five floating values are there. Here, five zeros. Here, five zeros. So five floating values are there. And after that, we are telling E. Suppose what I'll do, I'll create one more column here without using E. Then we'll come to know the difference. So here I'll remove this E and on value. So scientific to decimal. So I'll mention only two decimal format to decimal. So first it will add one more column. Name df is not defined. So I need to run this one. So maybe I'll mention df2. This is df2. I will run this one. Okay, now I will mention this is df2. I will run this one. So now it will add, it will get one more column. So point to F. So format no. So we should mention F. So but yeah. So here F means format and E means scientific number. Okay. So point to F. So F floating value. So we are getting two decimal. See here we are getting two decimal and we don't have any E and we don't have any scientific number. But here, instead of F, we are mentioning E. So that means two floating and here five floating and with the E value. So scientific number. So that is getting added. And here we have already scientific number, but so this 4.5, one decimal is there, but here it will get two decimal, but here it will get five decimal. After five, four zeros will get add. And accordingly, this E will update. See a scientific number. Okay, so next df2 dot select. So here I'm giving star. So why I'm giving star is I'm passing here list. So list compensation I'm passing. So whenever you pass list or list compensation inside this select function, we'll use hashtag here, this star. So here what I'm mentioning, format underscore string and this one. So this is the syntax for format underscore string. First we are mentioning the format, then column. So here what I will do, I will I will call this input column also here to compare. Okay, if I try to rerun this, okay, I think both are same. Df is not defined. So this is df2. So first I'm getting my input column. So on top of this column, cached float. Okay, so this list compensation, since I given alias C, it becomes same. So here I'm not mentioned any new column name. So that's the reason it taking same column name. So here first what happening? So according to this format underscore string on this column, what it happen, it will convert into this particular value. It will convert into first two float value. If you see here, all values, it has two decimals. So first thing is two decimals and after that E is given. So this value, it will convert into E number by maintaining two decimals. So here, it will maintain two decimals. So that is up to here. this one. And on top of that, I'm using cast. So cast function as float. So after converting this value, each value I'm converting to float, and I given dot alias as C. So here what is C is, so I'm iterating df2 dot columns. So we have only one column, that is value. So that one column, so in that one column, each and every value it will iterate. So for C in df2 dot columns. So df2 dot columns, we have one value, that means one column. So in this column, each and every value, it will iterate. It will iterate, and what it will do, it will iterate and it will perform this one, format underscore string function, it will perform. So next one is using SQL expression. So here df2 dot select, and normally what we'll do, we'll directly mention format underscore string. So we'll directly mention format underscore string. If you see here, so we'll mention like this. So if you want to write it in SQL way, we need to use expression function. So expression, and we need to start and ending with double quote, and this we should write like SQL way. If you see PySpark way, format underscore string, and inside that we need to mention the format and column name. But in SQL, if you see here, format underscore string, format and comma column name. So column name, we are not giving any double quotes here. Simply we are mentioning column name, but here call of value. So this is the difference between PySpark and way of writing in SQL. So this same thing, same result will get, because but only difference is here I given for format as 0.3. So that means I will get 3 decimal points. So 3 decimal points with scientific value. Okay, E. That is alias I given scientific. Column name is scientific. So this is way of SQL writing. And what is the output is a string, because format underscore string, right? So after applying format underscore string, we'll get output as string value. See here, all whatever you applied format underscore string, all are will get string data type. So that we need to observe here. So maybe I will mention at the starting. I don't know it is mentioned or not. Yeah, so here it is mentioned. So function format arguments in a printf state and returns the result as a new string call. So that is string data type will get. Okay, so output will be as string data type. So that's all about this video on how to use format underscore string function to convert to different formats, different style formats. So that's all about this video. If you really like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.